Okay, let's talk about solutions to nuclear medicine versus PACS problems. Hopefully you've read Dr. Wallace's article from 2004 on problems interfacing NucMed and PACS, and I'd like to expand on the last issue he mentions. He says, PACS does not display nuclear medicine images in a format that is useful for nuclear medicine viewing and interpretation. This is not an issue with the DICOM standard, but a design issue concerning vendors' choices in implemented image displays. Unfortunately, systems optimized for efficient interpretation of CT and MRI images may be very awkward to use when viewing nuclear medicine data. Addressing this issue is one of the main goals of the new IHE NucMed image profile. So let me make the problem simple to understand. Do you see the obvious difference? Hopefully you went, oh, nuclear medicine images are in color. Yes, radiology images are almost always, traditionally, black and white with a long scale of gray. Nuclear medicine images are frequently in vibrant colors. This is what a radiologist workstation looks like. You'll probably notice that it has 4 black and white barcode monitors, all in portrait setup, and then the 1 landscape color monitor for the reading work list. This is what a NucMed workstation looks like. It usually has 2 side-by-side color monitors. Very different ways to view images. And then you have PET-CT fusion images. So you have the CT scan on the far left that shows the anatomy. You have the PET scan that shows the physiology, the function of the cells, the cellular activity, and then they fuse those 2 images over top of each other, the PET-CT, one on top of the other, so you can see what activity is happening at what location. So you have the CT scan here. These black areas in the PET scan are areas where the dye they've injected is being absorbed or being taken up by different parts of the body. And then you have the whole image here, so you can see this bright spot right below the heart. You can see this is a kidney. So, most important, you have a lot of nuclear medicine images with color, and color is very important. It's hard, you can't diagnose that on a black and white monitor. So, as I said, NucMed uses color images. First generation PACS systems were built for black and white X-ray and CT images, utilizing high-resolution black and white monitors. Now, as we've progressed, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, we're seeing more and more color monitors being used for general X-ray reading. But again, they're set up specifically for CT, MR, ultrasound. They don't have the color palette and the color range that a nuclear medicine workstation has. So even though we've slowly moved away from all black and white monitors to some black and white and some color, they're still not right for nuclear medicine imaging. To properly interpret NucMed images, a separate workstation with color monitors and nuclear medicine specific software is needed. The solution remains in use today and is often called a MIM station or a MIM Vista station. MIM software is the best-selling nuclear med specific software. Most hospitals use it for reviewing and interpreting cardiac NucMed images as well as PET scans. So what does this mean for you, the PACS admin? It means that in addition to all your other duties as a PACS admin, you have these NucMed specific workstations to manage. Usually there's a workstation in the NucMed department for the techs to use to review images, and this is very similar to a post-processing workstation in CT or MR. You'll need to keep its monitors calibrated. You'll have to set it up as a query retrieve destination for PACS. You'll have to configure it to send to PACS, and since it's used for PET reading, the CT and NucMed camera will have to be able to send to that workstation. There will be a workstation in the NucMed reading room, and that has to be maintained in a similar fashion. There may even be a small server to archive the studies to be managed. It's almost like its own mini PACS system just for nuclear medicine that you have to maintain, and of course, you have to keep all the accreditation records for it. So, here's my personal experience with these nuclear medicine mini PACS systems. The level of support you have to provide to these systems varies greatly by site. Here are my personal experiences. When I worked in Oregon, we provided full support to all parts of the system. When I worked in Georgia, we provided full support to all parts of the system, and in addition, had to prefetch and manually create the hanging protocol every morning for the PET studies. And lastly, when I worked in Hawaii, we managed the PACS connections and server archive only. Quality control and routine maintenance was provided by the nuclear medicine chief tech. So where you work and how it gets handled, you may have to do a lot, you may have to do a little. It just depends. So thank you for watching.